The work at Brunnenpassage and the work for the exhibition, it comes as an extension from another work that I did last year, which was titled Clarity is the Closest Wound to the Sun. And this work is titled In the Promise of the Rising Sun. Both of the works are based on the autobiography of Zohra Drif, who was an Algerian freedom fighter fighting with the National Liberation Front, the FLN. She writes about a situation where one of the leaders was exposed to the French. He was Mohammed bin al-Arabi. So his identity was exposed to the French, and he needed to flee the capital and join the rebels in the mountain. So she talks about her proposing that since her father is a judge, he can take the idea of her mother, dress as a woman in a traditional Algerian clothing, and then the French will not catch him and he will escape, and it will all be fine. But then in that moment he refused because he didn't want to be dressed as a woman, or he thought that it's a degradation for him to be caught dressed as a woman. So the people will see it as a degradation of his role and the degradation of the liberation movement. So she goes in her autobiography in this monologue about how the people of Algeria did not condemn the women who joined the FLN, the women who were fighting against colonialism, and how she's surprised that the condemnation comes from the mindset of the comrades that she was living and working with for a long time. And to stop herself from crying in that moment, she says a line from a poem by René Char, which says, "Clarity is the closest wound to the sun." So both the titles, In the Promise of the Rising Sun and Clarity is the closest wound to the sun, that's where actually the work comes from. In that case, it was a video, and now it was extended into a text in public space. The text, I wrote it myself, and it's a response to one line of the poem. We belong to no point except that light unknown to us, inaccessible to us, that keeps awake courage and silence. So the whole text comes as a response to that line and also an extension to it. It comes from today's point of view. It emphasizes on the we. It emphasizes on a coming together. To rise, it says it starts with multiple passages of the text starts with, we are not the ones who fear revolution, or we are not the ones who fear the fire, and we are not the ones who fear the change, the moving stars, and so on. So it emphasizes that all our struggles, whether it is a feminist, our feminist struggle, whether it's an anti-colonial struggle, or struggle against capitalist system, against slavery, against genocides, and so on, that all of these struggles are not disconnected. It emphasizes the interconnectedness and the intersectionality of all the struggles. So it's specifically made for Brunnenpassage. And when Andrea invited me for the exhibition, she invited me for the collaboration with Brunnenpassage, it was immediately interesting for me that it's like there's something can be done in public space. So it was done for the space and for the exhibition.